very warm welcome to all of you. And Sudha Murty ma'am, it's an absolute privilege to be in conversation with you today. And I'm sure everyone is absolutely looking forward to hear your wise words. So I won't take much time with my questions. Uh, but all your books are rooted in such simplicity and shows that you have such a deep understanding of human nature. And in this book, you have actually crafted a journey of long-term friendships. And would you mind telling us, what began this journey and how this book shaped up?
ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿನ ಎಲ್ಲ ಓದುಗರಿಗೆ ನನ್ನ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ, ಸುಪ್ರಭಾತ. All readers, welcome to this session. Actually, I'm supposed to speak at 2 o'clock, but due to Indigo meltdown, at least I'm here. I came late night because I promised I will be here. So I changed it because there is no other way. Otherwise, I can't reach back Delhi. I'll be here only. This book I wrote in 1996, I think. In Kannada, first I wrote in Kannada by the name Yashasvi. Because what is success in life? Many people, it's a very philosophical way I was thinking. What is success? There are many definitions of success actually. Normally for people, success means money. Success means award. Success means you're in a high position. So when you go deep into the person's mind who have achieved all those things, are they really consider themselves successful? This I thought in 1996. And I wanted to tell what is success in one's eye is so different than what is success the person feels. Both are entirely different. I made this story of 5 people and everybody thought in 1996, it is my own story. Okay? Oh, it's your own story, Uttara Rao. I said, no, nothing to do with me. If you read Uttara Rao and myself, they are entirely different. Because after all, I'm a creator. So I created these 5 characters, but some traces of my friends, my acquaintances, my experiences, I did use. But not 100%, maybe 10%, 15%. But I rewrote this whole novel, maybe last year, I think, Mamta knows which year it came out, 2025 February, I think, almost a year back, almost 10 months back, and called this Circle of Life, which is based upon Yashasvi, but it is not Yashasvi. Because after 25 years or 29 years, I look life in an entirely different way. Entirely different way, my own failures, my own successes, my own achievements, my own non-achievements, my own way of life. I turn back into, turn back and see. Then I recreated this. This is Circle of Life. That is the life itself taught me what it is in 29 years. So it's entirely a new book.
That kind of sets the tone for my next question. You have always woven very strong values into your books. And I think the appeal is because it's not preachy. It becomes as part of the story that you are telling, the appealing story. But here in this book, you address that fact that different experiences shape people differently. You may be in the same setup, but it's the experiences that shape you finally. Would you shed some light on that for us, ma'am?
Yeah. Actually, I should have talked this before that, but I would like to tell this one. I came to this jail in 1998 or something, when it was a jail. I used to come and teach computer science lessons here to all those people who wanted to learn in Kannada. So I brought, that's it, then I wrote Computer Locally, a Kannada book for, these people. And after that, I'm coming again this time, What a change in life, I said. Life is so unpredictable. Life is so unpredictable. You can, by any methodology, including AI, ChatGPT, or whatever you do, you cannot predict what you will be. So this one, I thought, when students join college, 5 of them, I just took 5 of them. They think, okay, all of us are more or less equal because they're all bright kids. And I wrote it with the background of Indian Institute of Science because I was a student there. So it is easy for me to describe how in the Institute of Science, the steps, the mess, the administration, the classes, everything. I have undergone that. So I use that. So all of us think when you go to IIT or ISCA or even college, whatever college you go, you think all of us are equal, our life will be like that. No, your life will be so different than what you assume and you start. Or even marriage, you assume and you start. After 50 years or 45 years of marriage, you come back and see it is so different. Life is so different. And for me, these 5 people indicated what they wanted in life. And after 25 years, life was upside down. And that I have seen. The most, the most sincere, honest person becoming a corrupt. The brightest girl who would have made her career very well became a housewife. The girl who always believed in independence, at the end she realized, this is in the novel actually, what really means a family. 1, 2, 3. The man who thought money is everything in life regretted for that after 25 years. What is the use of money when you don't have happiness? That is number 4. Number 5 is the girl who wanted to marry and have a proper settled life did not get married and became extremely successful as a professor. That means you assume something in life, the set of circumstances change so much to you. And when I wrote this circle of life, I realized in life, your efforts are only 10%, maximum efforts. 10% probably the circumstances, which you can influence. 80% is beyond you. I never agreed when I wrote in 1996. That's the reason I said this book is so different than 1996 book. Because I realized 80% of the incidents what happen in your life, you don't have control. And you are always under the impression, I can change it. You can change 10 plus 10 to some extent. That's what I felt. It is my subjective opinion in this book. And I made the character in the same way.
I absolutely agree with you, and especially when you are reading the book, even the guy for whom money is everything, you kind of empathize with him, for the choices that he's making in his life. So you do bring in such deep clarity and human understanding and compassion into every character that you write. So on that note, is it essential for us to revisit our past and think of the choices we made and did not make? Would that help in self-love or in understanding others?
See, please remember, I am a creative author. Though I say I've written with a neutral point of view, somewhere your philosophy will reflect. Please remember, you cannot write in a vacuum. You write what is your philosophy, but without preaching in some or other way. So I am no exception. I always believe life will have lot of difficulties, lot of joys also, good points and bad points. Together makes life. Together makes life. Life is not repeated success makes a person arrogant. Repeated failures makes a person diffident. A good amount of success and fair amount of failure makes a person mature. I believe in it. And life poses a lot of problems. One method is, why it happened to me, why only me, all those things. Another method is, look, it has happened. What is the best available solution for me? I should sit and go on grieving about the past or exaggerating, my past was so good, look at me today. Or will you accept the reality and do whatever the best next, whatever remaining part of your life. And I believe in thinking that way. Positive thinking. Difficulties do come in life. Whenever you have difficulties, there are many ways to tackle. One is, this too shall pass. Second way is, everyone has difficulties. Your difficulties look very silly to me. I would have passed this one. But you know what the gravity of that. Everybody's difficulties, for that person only, they feel, it's so hard. But others, say it's very easy. But I always believe life will have difficulties. You should know it is unpredictable. It can come any time. And philosophically, I agree with Buddhism, who says life, what exists, that disappears. That's what Buddha says. What exists, that disappears. It may be youth, it may be money, it may be beauty, it may be position. So, Go in the middle path. Don't go to extreme. Go in the middle path. Accept reality. Many people don't accept reality. Blame somebody. No. Accept reality, and then remaining part of your life, be positive and do your level best. That I have brought it in this book, also in a different way.
And also, it's really remarkable that you have been doing and continue to do such fantastic social service over decades. So, being with people from varied, backgrounds and stratas, does it bring in to your writing? Does it come into the writing when you start drafting characters?
Of course it comes.
Can you give some examples? If
Of course,
possible?
because working with Infosys Foundation gave me a bigger platform. I worked for 25 years until I retired. It's a bigger platform of meeting prostitutes, rich people, politicians. Now I meet a lot more. Then film actors, poorest of the poor people, street vendors, gig workers. No, I worked in entirely different field. But I understood one thing. Irrespective of position, everyone is the same. Irrespective of time, everyone is same inside. Because of your education, you mask many things. Because of your money, you mask something. But inside the kind of feelings what you have towards a human feeling, it remains the same. And that time it made me to think, in front of God, all are equal. That philosophy I understood. And life is the biggest leveler, I realized. So whatever time you have, think positively, enjoy every day. Don't think ill, waste your time. That all helped me to be a better human being and maybe a better author also. It has reflected in all my books. Let it be even children's book. I bring that a sense of compassion, a thread of hope, a ray of better tomorrow, all in my writing.
You have actually written across genres. You have written short fiction, children's books, long fiction. So, what happens to be your, go-to mode, and how do you decide when you think of a story, what format does it fit best?
It depends. For example, if I have to write a novel, I take 3 years, not earlier than that. It will be in my mind, and I'll be thinking about it. I'll be looking at people and searching my character everywhere. It takes 3 years. But if I have to write a novel, I always write in Kannada, my mother tongue. Because I'm a Kannada medium person. I studied physics, chemistry, mathematics in Kannada up to age of 16. When I went to college, I was not able to write a single paragraph of English. Okay? So my expression of my emotion is always in my mother tongue. Because I'm deep-rooted in Kannada, deep-rooted in Karnataka, and deep-rooted in Kannada literature. So my novels will be always in Kannada, and after a couple of years, I will rewrite it in English the way I feel like. My short stories are always in English. When I write for children, it's always in English. When I read Infosys those days I used to write Infosys Foundation experience, also my today's experience, they're also always in English. When I write in Kannada, I learned shorthand, pen and paper and a shorthand I write in Kannada. English directly I type. Nowadays I don't get much time, so I will tell my secretary I will go on dictating and she should type, and then after 2 months I will sit and reread it again. I have different techniques. So I don't use the same technique, and I don't decide which is the story novel, which is the short story, which is the experience. The experiences or the stories made me to think that way, they only direct me. It's a small subject, so let me write. It tells me to make it 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 words. If it's a bigger one, it makes me to write a novel. I'm not the master of that. It is the subject itself is the master to me, and I'm a slave to the master.
That's very humble, man. And also this particular novel where you have to craft 5 different kind of people with 5 entirely different backgrounds and from 5 different parts of India. I mean, that's...
Globe. Because
Globe, yeah.
Janaki Paranjape goes to Boston.
Absolutely. So you have to bring in their childhood, you have to bring in their later lives. How did this happen? This is like a magnum opus.
No, what I do, I use computers and draw a matrix. Otherwise, I can't, because at the same time I have to describe everybody. At the same time, I have to pull them out. So I used computer and made the matrix. So when they are in college, when their childhood is a matrix, when they were in college, and there I have to give a suggestion what they want to become, also part of it. That's another matrix. In between life is another matrix. End is another matrix. In that you will have subject, you will have subject, you will have timeline, you will have the place. So I have to think every matrix the way what I put in.
Like an Excel sheet, it's a very
You know,
methodical.
I do that. Like it's a really, it's a technology I use, and then I write a few words in each cell, but I will be knowing what is the content of that cell. That I will do.
Now, with the technology moving more towards generative AI, I think there cannot not be a question about that. So, what is your opinion in general of the content being more and more being AI generated?
I know all of you say AI, chat GPT, you can write a novel. Actually, using AI and chat GPT, many people write speeches actually. Many people use. And when they use that sheet and they talk, immediately, or at least I will tell, it's the chat GPT. It is not original. The kind of words, because AI will write much better than what I can write, million times better. But there will not be emotions in that. In my own book, when I write, I will have tears. I will have tears. Like in Janki Paranjape, I cried for her. When I wrote it, she is my own daughter in the sense, every character is my child. And when she underwent difficulties, I had tears. And I had tears for Uttara Rao's failure. A brightest girl, she becomes one of the simplest, housewife stays at home all the time. Because I deal with the emotion. So my writing changes depending on the emotion. In AI, there are no emotions. Quality of English should be very good. You can use the best of the quotes, but there is no emotion. And all human beings, all of us, are emotional. That's the reason. If someone dies, you go and hug a person. Why do we do? You get sorry, condolences. AI, you can use AI and write a condolence message, and you can read. But we don't do. Go and hug that person. Your touch when somebody is in difficulties makes them to cry. If someone is crying, I said cry. It's a natural process. Okay? So when you touch a human being, the feelings are so different, and AI cannot be substituted. So I always believe, irrespective of whatever progress with the technology or chat GPT, AI, whatever you do, writing remains the same, because we are all human beings and we are not robots.
So now this is a slightly light-hearted question. Of the 5 people in the book, do you know the 5 people, and do those 5 people know who you are writing about?
It's a 10%, no? So it could happen to you also. It could happen to me also. It could happen to all these people sitting here. When you have 10% adulteration, nobody will come to know. Okay? But by and large, no, you can't make out, because you can say every character in your friends, in your children are young actually, in your neighbors, your classmates, you can say every character. But I did talk to all these 5 characters whom I wanted 10% of them. I told them I'm writing, and some traces of yours can I use? They said, of course you use. They say, on the contrary, they were very happy. They say, we can't write. At least you write our portion, not even 10, you put 50. I said, no. Just because you are telling me 50, I can't. My character requires only 10% of yours. So I know someone like Arvind Shah in real life. I know someone like that. I know someone like Pami in real life. I know someone like Uttara Rao. And everybody thinks I am Uttara Rao. It's really not true. Looking at me, she was an introvert. She was an introvert. And she had a different ways of thinking at life. I don't have that. So I know each character, and they also know their. So I have given the books to them. They said, oh, you should have added a little more. My life was not that simple. I said, no. Only I can take medicine, only 10%, not more.
So, of the 5 characters, which one did you enjoy writing the most? There is always one character that an author kind of gets attached to, right? Did that happen, or was it like a mother catering to different children? The
You
same.
have 2 daughters. Tell me whom you love the more.
That's what I was getting at. But when I'm writing, there is always a character that I
No,
probably
for
love.
me it is not that. Normally, I feel I get into each character right and come out of it. Each one of them I do. That's why it takes 3 years for me. I get into each character and become that character. Like I became not Srimati. What is this? Uttara Rao. I became Janki Paranjape. Every character I get into, get out of it. It is very hard actually. Get into is easy. Getting out is very difficult.
It can be draining, actually.
It is. I'm writing since 50 years. I have 50 years. I have 50 books. 1 year, 1 book, not more than that. Okay. Novels will take 3 years for me because it is very hard to come out, but I have to come out. So I'll get a block at that time. So I write a character, I'll get a little block, then I come out of it, then I write the next character. So it is not an easy job. I have to go on balancing with my office work in between. But I felt every character is very beautiful because I'm a mother, so for me everything looks beautiful. It's very difficult for me to say which one I like the most. But I found out which one I found out the most difficult to write was Arvind Shah. Very difficult because it's 180 degrees, it goes a real change. And it was very difficult to write. So I have to invent in between a slow changing process and making him extremely corrupt at the end.
To make it credible, to make the journey credible.
Yeah, yeah, it's because the turning 1%, like Uttarara was also difficult, but it was easier. But Arvind Shah, I felt it very difficult. And people do change like that, 180 degrees.
Yeah. So maybe because of the way you write, like how you treat each character with a, with a neutral perspective to begin with, but I don't know how to put this, but there is so much compassion that you kind of evoke in the reader about every character, their lives. Even Arvind, you can't really hate him. You don't agree with the choices he's making, but you can't hate him.
But you feel sad for him actually.
You do.
And
Do
he
feel very
himself
sad.
feels sad in that book. He knows what he's doing is wrong. So that is a very famous saying Duryodhana says, Najami dharmam nachame pravurti. Yudhishthira says, Najami adharmam nachame nivrutti. No, other way. Duryodhana says, Najami adharmam nachame nivrutti. I know what I'm doing wrong, but I can't get out of it. So I use that quote particularly with Shah. I want to tell you my technique of writing this one. I see the scene in front of me, including their dress code. And I only describe it. Like there is a very famous poet in Karnataka, maybe 14th century, that is Kumaravyasa. He says, Lipikara Nanu. He says, I'm only a scriber. I'm a scribe. I write what they talk, I write. I'm not the original author. And for me, that is same. Like, I look at the picture and I just go on writing the picture, and that becomes a novel. But that may not be the correct way. That is my way. You have a different way. You are an author. There are many authors here. Everybody has a different way. Their crazy way. This is my crazy way.
I have heard many authors say that sometimes the characters and the sequences write themselves. You're not really crafting it consciously, but they write themselves. So probably the same experience has happened.
They will take me forward. Actually, I don't do.
Yeah. So I think we will open it up for questions.
Little bit of questions we will ask. Otherwise,
Yeah.
people will think I'm talking only about my own book, so that you should buy. No, that is not compulsory. Okay.
I'm sure everybody here will have already bought and read, I'm sure.
But it's a little serious kind of a thing. I met an 8 years kid, he said, which you want to read? Which book you want to read? Circle of Life. I said, no, you let your mom read, not you, I told him. Because it is not that content is adult. It is the philosophy of life is different thing. Yeah, some questions I would like to take because I always enjoy talking to my readers. Someone asked me, Mrs. Murty, you are old. I said, is it? I never knew that, okay? You are old, and why do you have to come and 5 o'clock to to the airport and sign all the books and take 6 o'clock flight. I thought the only reason is I want to connect with my readers. That's the one way I sign in the airport, so that I can meet my readers. Otherwise, I will never meet you people. Okay, that's one of the reasons. Thank you. Chalo, let's have some question answers. Not personal, something with the book. Okay. I always make fun. Who paid your bill when Murty was unemployed? Okay. Other don't ask that question, only I paid. Yes, but anyone. Feel like asking, it's not compulsory. It's not a class where you have to ask question and I will rate you. If you have, anyone has question, they can ask. You're not asking about my books, okay? My life in Parliament, I consider it's really helpful to me because I can raise national issues in a bigger platform, which through books I would not have done, through speeches I would not have done. Even though I can only talk to these many people, but in Parliament when I talk, it goes nationwide. I'll give a simple example. My maiden speech, I talked about cervical cancer vaccination. Many people have read about it. And it was noticed by our Prime Minister, Mr. Modi ji, that I talked about woman's life mother's life is so precious. Woman's life is precious. And he picked it up, and now in northern India, in Bihar, they started free cervical cancer vaccination to age between 10 to 13, which I would not have been able to do as the chairman of Infosys Foundation or Narayan Murthy's wife or as an author. None of them I would have been able to. I would have talked about it, but it was implemented. That, like yesterday I talked about social media and children participating with the mother influencers and children influencers, and how it is affecting their psychology, children's psychology, which I would not have been able to do. But National Network, if I talk in the Parliament, it is immediately it went all around the nation, and I am getting the response. That way I consider Parliament gives me a bigger platform, and it also helps me being a neutral person, because I am next rostrum, next sinstrom, in a Latin word, neither to left nor to right, I am in the middle. I don't belong to any party. So I have my own opinion and betterment of my country. So that way I feel I am very fortunate. Yeah. Somebody asked, let someone, we will get a chance.
Good morning.
Yes, please.
What gives you the motivation to write children books?
Where are you? Where are you? I have to see your face. Yeah, oh, much. Okay. Children, you are buying my books and making me rich and famous. Otherwise, I would not have got royalty. I would not have been rich. I would not have been famous. Only you are responsible. Tell me the question better.
What gives you the motivation to write children books?
Okay, this question is asked me many times, but I will still reply. I have written 50 books, out of that 25 are for children. Because today's, please sit down first. But when you look at today's life, most people, both parents are working, and they are not with the children are not with the grandparents, and grandparents are extremely busy with this serial, who is getting married to whom and who is cheating whom. I went to my friend's house. She said, no, don't come this time because the husband is cheating. Wife should not know. I said, no, that's in the serial, not in real life. She said, I'm so busy. I want, the people participate so much, they think they can catch that fellow. But that's only on TV. Grandparents are busy with the, the kind of serial which is sensational. Parents are busy, work and WhatsApp. Then teachers are very busy in completing the portion and additional work. So how our children will be entertained, how good value system is told to them. And directly I cannot tell. So I thought I will write books. When you do wrong things, you will suffer. When you do good things, it's good for you. And entertainment like Gopi. Gopi is a real character. Today if Gopi would have come here, you would not have even listened to me, you would have seen only. He's so handsome and so real. So Gopi's story is through compassion and towards animals. Yesterday I talked about, I said I'm standing here in front of the Parliament, not for my sake, for my sake of those animals who cannot speak, suffer, and the land also belong to them as much as to us. So I can do that with the Gopi books. So these are the sensitive issues I write so that children like you can read and enjoy, and maybe a little bit of that you can absorb. That makes me to write for children. I think we are time is up, I suppose. Otherwise, one more question. Chalo. Chalo.
Hello, my name is Lavishka Raut. I'm from GIS and I'm in grade 6.
I want,
I
no,
have,
children questions are okay. Some adult question, no, because one I have answered.
I have a
Good morning,
question that like when you write children's book, like which is your favorite children's book out of all the children's book you have written?
The same thing, same answer. All books are same for me. Adult question, because children book you can, I've answered. This is, same questions will be there. That I like all children book, because I myself, I wrote it for my granddaughters first, you know. So yeah, one question and we'll continue.
Good morning, ma'am. The first book that I've ever read in my life is yours, Mahesh.
Ma-
And today, standing here and talking with you, I think my life went in full circles.
Ah.
I'm really grateful for this. And my question now is, when you're writing a character which doesn't align with your values, like you are talking about a character that went 360-degree turn, right? So how do you deal with the gray areas of it? How do you get into the character and write it?
Normally, I don't write characters with whom I don't align, I don't write. But if it is needed for the book, I do write. I do write by observation, I write. And you know, every time I should remember when I write, you know, this is the character which I would not have lived. Making it probably more cruel or more this one, I take little more time. Writing the normal character is very easy. Norming, writing for the character which I don't like, it really takes time. It's a very good question actually. I used to think, you know, how will I make somebody villain? Okay, it's very hard for me to make, because I don't consider everybody, whosoever even makes a mistake, I don't consider that person is a villain, you know, because a person is is actually the kaidi of the circumstance, I tell. Here, we are in the kaidi khana, so we are in the jail. A person is the victim of the circumstances. People who have a strong values, strong mindset, not physically, mentally, can avoid such circumstances. Normal people, if you don't have that, your weak mind, you get into that rut. Okay, that I learned in central jail. Why the person committed a murder? Why a person cheated somebody? I learned here because people with a weak mind normally get into that. People with a strong mind, they do get such opportunities, but they will, like a threshold, they will cross over it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to talk to my readers. Come to BLF. I'm extremely sorry, and once again I ask apologies, and I won't be there at 2:10 my sessions. Okay. Dhanyawad. Jai Hind.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.